Welcome back, Three-Word Match Reports. You just talk amongst yourselves, that's fine, we're just on live TV. Oh, you're still here, Steve? That's nice. How was it outside waiting in the cold?
It was really nice.
Lovely.
Lovely.
On the subs bench out there. Not a place you know well, obviously.
It was really nice being out there.
Harry White, his Three-Word Match Report is season-defining sub. He's a United fan, as is Julie, who says Jose masterclass again. Steve won't agree with that. Paddy Briggs, a Spurs fan, good, no cigar. And Sarah, who's a Liverpool fan, says a clean sheet, and she says it in capital letters. And Gareth Cully, a City fan, goals for fun. They're certainly enjoying life at the moment. Right, time to talk about West Ham. Of course, West Ham today play Crystal Palace. Let's hear now from Baz Cox and Terence Ford. This is how they enjoyed their day.
It's finished here at Selhurst Park. Somehow we've found a way back into the game. 2-2 is finished. Wilfried Zaha with the last kick of the game. Palace finally finding a way past Joe Hart, who was probably man of the match in the West Ham goal. A much needed point, especially being 2-0 down at half time, and hopefully we can build from there.
That sums West Ham up. Go to Wembley, 2-0 down against Tottenham, come back and win 3-2. Play Crystal Palace, side who don't win football matches, go 2-0 up and concede 2 second half when it's 2-2. Tough!
Life as a football fan, as a West Ham fan at the moment. Look, we had this reports a few days ago about Slaven Bilic has got 2 games to save his job. And then they go and they beat a Spurs team in the League Cup, who were a much changed Spurs side. And then today they get this draw. What is it about this two games to save your job, 3 games to save your job? What good does that do anyone?
Jake, has it actually happened? Did David Sullivan or
what's
David
it taught us?
Gold?
What have we learned?
But did they actually call him and say you've got 2 games? I mean, or is it just someone saying that? I don't know. I mean,
how often in your careers did things happen, and when you pick up the paper, the story is completely different to what happened in that?
every day,
Every day, yeah.
Every day.
Every story normally. I never said that. I never spoke to him. All the time. Yeah. Most of it was there's plenty of embellishment going on. I mean, you don't know whether this story. I mean, unfortunately, it was a strange old game today, the West Ham Palace game, because Palace were excellent in the second half, but West Ham were cruising at 2-0, and then it was again, like most things, it was a silly mistake to give away a penalty, and that just you could feel it. It just allowed Crystal Palace back into the game, and only for Joe Hart they could have went on to win the game. So it's encouraging signs for both teams that they got a point. But Crystal Palace played really well, certainly in the second half.
Yeah, it was contrasting emotions for the 2 managers, wasn't it? Particularly at full time, the sort of frustration for Slaven Bilic, you would imagine, you can see here. Look at that, Slav with his head in his hands and Roy elated. And Steve was saying a minute ago, Slaven Bilic must be the most frustrated manager with the stuff that's going on at that football club in terms of what happens on the pitch, which you can't control.
Yeah, no, I think it's really tough for Slaven. To be fair, all these rumours about it's not rocket science. Where West Ham are, they've spent a bit of money. They expect to be in a better position, so the rumours will come. I think Slaven Bilic is a good man and an honourable man and deserves time for sure. That's a bad result for them today. Mentally, that's a terrible result. You can see the contrast in emotions. Then I don't think it's a great result for Palace because they're playing so much catch-up that a game at home against West Ham, we were saying that, weren't we? It's a game going into it. They need to get 3 points. So both teams, bad result.
Is Slaven under deserved pressure, do you think?
no, I mean, listen, you're going to be under pressure when you're stuck down in the bottom 3 or 4. And as Frank said, they've spent money and, you know, who does the recruitment there, who does... You never know what's going on at a football club. You don't know until you're in that football club.
The buck has to stop somewhere, and it is...
Well, it has to stop, but it stops with him. But if he's not bringing the players... I don't know. He may be bringing the players in. We don't know. Or is it somebody else giving him the players? It's like, you know, it's happened to Everton. Did Koeman bring the players in, or did...
Walsh bring them in.
Walsh bring them in. When Walsh was, you know, Steve Walsh was at Leicester, he got so much credit. It was his, you know, he bought all these players. What a fantastic job he's bringing all the players in. Suddenly he goes to Everton. I don't hear no more really about him. It's all about Koeman suddenly when things are going wrong. I don't know whether Slaven's had players dropped on him, but they brought some decent players in. I mean, Joe Hart's a great goalkeeper. Zabaletta's a good right back. You know,
I found the recruitment a bit strange in terms of how forward-thinking it was, is what I would say. Like, Chicharito will score goals, but at the stage of his career, I don't know where the next move is. You sell him on, how long will he be there? Arnautovic, shows little phases where he does well. Zabaleta, I think, a good sign, and you know what you're going to get from him. But I don't know. I think maybe they could have looked. Where can we get a bit younger, a bit of pace up front, up there? I don't know. It's just a bit.
And pressure
strange.
builds when other managers start losing their jobs, don't they? You know, when there's teams above you and the manager's losing the job, unfortunately, whether that's a right decision or the wrong decision, that starts the other people panicking, doesn't it? And it's like, oh, well, he should go now. It's time for him to go. And I think that just adds more pressure on them, which is unfortunate, really.
But you'd have seen him as a good front two, wouldn't you? Carroll and the little guy.
Yeah.
So can you see a plan at West Ham? Can you see what Slaven Bilic and West Ham are doing? Because I think it's hard in some ways to see the progression from season to season at the moment. And maybe they're having to make short-term decisions because of the fact they're struggling.
It's not easy to have a plan, is it? I'm saying that I just thought they might have gone a bit younger with recruitment, but I don't think it's easy. I think survival is first.
That is the plan.
Yeah, the plan is survival.
The plan is from outside that top 6 and top 7 really, because Everton shouldn't be anywhere near it, you know, in terms of.
Really, what West Ham are aiming for more than survival.
But you're looking. Can we finish? You know, what are they? They're not going to finish in the top 6. You know, I know they came close
top
the
half,
other
isn't
year.
it? Top 8.
If they finish top half, I thought this year they'd finish around about 10th. That's what.
But I think that's the thing, isn't it? There is no plan, because every manager, unfortunately, now in the job is planning for the next 6 months. You can't plan for 3-4 years down the line, bring a load of kids in, let's get the academy strong and bring them through, because you're out of a job if you lose 2 games. That's why it's such a ruthless business at the moment.
Amazingly, Klopp advised David Wagner, Liverpool played Huddersfield today, not to get into management. What would your advice be for Frank? Because a few days ago I asked him whether he fancies managing Chelsea, and he said yes. You harbour an ambition to be a manager.
Frank, get into it.
You'd still say, despite everything we've just discussed.
Yeah, but you've got to take your first job is the most important job. His first job that he takes will be the most important, because if he takes a job where there's not real ambition, or the chairman, the owners are flaky and and it ain't the right, he's got no chance of being successful, and you're not a success, and you get the step. Oh, he was a great player, Frank, fantastic. He's not a manager. He was a great player. That's how it works.
You hear these horror stories, don't you, where like the chairman will woo certain players and they'll offer them this, and we've got this, and we've got this, and as soon as they sign on the dotted line, right, we haven't got any money now. That's have to make those average players much better, and that's
it's got to be the right that first one.
What is right then? Is it all about now the owner? A stable owner who understands the game.
It certainly gives you a great chance.
Gives you time.
If you've got a good owner, if you could find a Steve Gibson or someone to go and work for at Middlesbrough, someone like that who's, I never met the man, but he just from the outside, he's
people say
fantastic.
Who's your best owner? Your best owner?
I've had some good owners, and I had 10 chairmen when I was at Bournemouth in 10 years. Normally the chairman gets rid of the manager. I used to get rid of the chairman. But no,
you just want help off them, don't you?
Yeah.
If they've got a few finances, depending on what league you're in, if you've got a little bit of financial backing as well, that has to help.
Yeah.
But you need the stability around you, I think. You need that security, knowing that if you go into a job, if you do lose 3 or 4 games on the spin, it's going to stay with you. You're not going to react to the fans and kick you out.
Still the plan.
We've got loads of things going from my head here. Sorry.
Hold on a minute.
That's part of the
Suddenly
skill.
he signs a 10-year deal with BT Sport.
No, I suppose that's part of the skill, and I mean, part of the skill is listening to Harry saying that. You can easily jump into something and it'd be the wrong thing.
Don't dive in, no.
And there are loads of routes. Look at Stephen Gerrard here, works with us. He's taken that route. There are lots of different routes. So as long as you keep learning, this job here gives me an opportunity to do this. We're analysing games and then to work around it with my badges, go and watch good managers. So bring it all together.
See, we used to all start at the bottom. Years ago, I mean, I know someone like Kenny, who was a legend, obviously, and he ends up being a young player and then going straight.
Manager,
But in the main, most managers years ago all started 3rd, 4th division. You got a job, and then you try to work your way up, and you had time to, West Ham, for instance, talk about West Ham. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but I think West Ham had something like 4 managers in 60 odd years.
Yeah.
4 managers. I mean, they got relegated and come back up, and they'd get relegated 5 years later, but they'd come with the same manager. They didn't sack Ron Greenwood or John Lyall or Ted Fenton, whoever, I forget who was before that. But that was how it was. You got a chance. Now, You lose 3 or 4 games and you're under pressure.
Oh, well, you've got managers winning the Champions League at Chelsea and losing his job the next season, or a manager winning the league
Winning
in the
the
next
league,
season.
yeah.
Now there's talk of
Claudio
pressure.
Ranieri, I mean, he should have had a free pass for 5 years, shouldn't he? Win the league with Leicester. I mean, it's incredible.
I think as a manager, you go into it knowing that. And you've got to be unbelievably thick-skinned because it's not easy getting a sack anyway. But you have to be aware that that's the environment we're in now.
You stay where you are.
Because you like
Now, have a go, Frank. Get in there.
Get away from
You'll
him.
do
Let's take
great.
the
Get away
Norwich
from him.
job. If you take the Norwich job, I'll be your number 2.
That's a
No.
possibility.
No.
That's not a
Ali
bad.
said your first job's important. You can't take Norwich. That's ridiculous.
That's not a bad shout, Norwich. Good, good club.
I'm only joking, all the Canary fans there.
He's doing well, the man.
I'm
You
gonna
know, we
take
don't want
that
to put him
clip and
under
send that to
pressure.
Delia.
Send it to
I am going to do that. The Ratha, you've seen the Ratha dealer.
You will not like that.
Can you imagine that?
I do want to talk about the under-17s. I think
Yes.
all of us delighted with that today, aren't we? We are world
Brilliant.
champions at that level. You've worked with Ryan Brewster.
Yeah, I know him,
you
yeah.
know Phil Foden from Manchester City. How do we now try and create a situation where these players get an opportunity at top-level clubs? We have to sort this out now, where this goes
you
through
think so?
and the future looks bright. How do we make it bright? What's the answer here?
Well, coaching in the academies. I think, speaking first-hand pretty much from Chelsea and City, I've seen close quarters day. The coaching's fantastic. But now is the next step. Winning the Under-17 World Cup is an amazing achievement for everyone involved. But now is the next step. So it's to carry on coaching and try and give them a taste of first team. You need clubs like Chelsea. We all know now there's 2 buildings in most of the big clubs. First team and academy. You need to build a bridge, literally, where you keep getting them over there. Harry did it with us at West Ham. If I had a couple of good days training, Rio Ferdinand, Joe Cole. Joe Cole was training at 15. For the first team. You know?
Training with
And
the
that
first
makes
team.
you feel, as a player, that makes you stand up and go, wow, it takes a bit of time, then that's the next step, and that's the next step. But you need people that are willing, not to stick them in the first team, because it's a big business, we know that, but give them a feel.
Yeah, but the thing is, as well, is that the gulf between being a superstar under 17 and the first team is monstrous. I mean, it's massive. The gulf between under 23s and the first team at this moment in time, because we all watch a lot of the under 23 leagues, that is massive, the difference. So we need that, and you also need the coaches to have the patience, have the confidence to bring them in. Ryan Brewster's been on the bench for Liverpool already last year with Jurgen Klopp. I played in a game with him out in Australia at the end of the season, so he's had lots of.
How good is he? You coach him?
He's excellent. He's excellent. He's an excellent footballer. Excellent prospect. He's a really good kid.
Yeah. Excellent prospect.
Yeah.
Even the amount of
But he
time you've
needs to keep
seen
on
him play,
improving.
do you have any real idea whether he could cut it in the men's
If he
game?
keeps on improving the levels he's going, yes, he can do. When people say to me, I said to Ian Dark, one of our commentators, who's a good kid at Liverpool last year, and I said Ryan Brewster's the one who we've all got big hopes for. But it was Ben Woodburn, now it's Ryan Brewster. You have to keep on going and kicking on and kicking on and kicking on, because we've seen it many times. As soon as you stop improving, that's it, you're finished. And we all know Phil Foden's a good kid. We all know that. We all know the Chelsea and Man City lads are brilliant. They're winning everything at youth level, at Champions League youth level. They're winning everything. But
Will the managers ever give them a chance, Macca? Will they ever get
that's
that
the big
chance?
question, mate, isn't it?
Years ago, chairman of football clubs understood, OK, it's the manager came in, he's going to build a team. I played under Ron Greenwood, who was a fantastic football coach. He came to a Youth Cup semi-final that I played in when at West Ham on a Saturday at Wolverhampton when the first team were playing. He came, it was late in the season, and he came with the kids to watch an FA Youth Cup semi-final. And then we beat them and played Liverpool in the final. He went to every youth game, never missed. I used to go with Frank Stead every Saturday morning, I'd be at Chadwell Heath. Every Saturday, if we were at home, the first team, we'd go to Chadwell Heath, watch the kids play, we'd leave there, 20 minutes into the second half, get back to the football ground get ourselves prepared for the first team game. But we used to go everywhere with the youth team.
And what that means to the player, the young player, I remember you being there.
Yeah.
Managers here.
Managers here.
Yeah, always.
Otherwise,
Never miss a game.
They can feel like you don't even know who they are.
Travel up to Oldham to watch the youth team and whatever when they played there. Up to Everton, Liverpool, wherever we didn't miss a game.
That's everything around them. But the other thing is the mentality of those lads. They need to know that they've nowhere near made it. And celebrate, enjoy, go on Instagram, do what you've got to do, enjoy the moment. But what comes now is the real hard work, which is going up those next steps, which are massive. Macca said it. I remember those steps, 17s. I thought I was a bit of a player. Put in the reserves, struggled. Got into the first team, struggled. Then you come to terms with it. There's a lot of hard work and mentality.
You know what's a
involved.
big problem as well now, Jake? See, loaning players out. Frank went to Swansea on loan, was a big thing in his career. You know, I loaned Jermaine Defoe here. I loaned Rio Ferdinand. They all came out and went out and played on loan.
Play football.
Now, when you want to take a player on loan, if I ring a football club and I'm a lower division club, you have to pay big money, £1 million loan fee. If you don't pick them, you have penalties.
Penalty clauses,
so you have to pay X amount every week that you don't pick him.
Because these players have become a commodity, though. You know, Chelsea now run a business which is players that are not good enough for the first team will earn the millions.
But they're not going to get that experience to go out and play.
You need to play men's football, and that means playing in front of crowds. And 3 points is everything.
Everything.
Not under 23 level when it doesn't really matter if you win or lose. To be very honest, you need to play men's football where, you know, the win bonus means everything to your teammates. That's what you have to do. You have to play in front of crowds who are berating you and going crazy and dying for the cause, and that's when you know whether you're going to make it.
I remember Harry ringing me. I was in bed at home having an afternoon sleep or something, and I was in the youth team. As you say, games that mattered but didn't really matter. And Harry rang me and said, "I'm sending you to Swansea. I just passed my driving test." And at first I thought, I don't fancy that. I don't want that at all. Harry and my dad didn't really let me have a choice in the fact. And thank goodness, because I went there for 2 months. I didn't pull up any trees, but I realised what men's football was.
I went to the Vetch one Saturday, Frank. We had a Sunday game. We trained in the morning. I drove down to the old Vetch to Swansea to watch you play ankle-deep mud. Yeah. Fantastic. What an experience for you.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
But I remember you played under 21s for England before you'd even made a first-team appearance. So you were the first player actually to do that. Do you remember Laurent Momenemy's quote? I've seen more fat on a chip.
Yeah, but I was young though, because I played for Liverpool when I was 18.
I've still seen more fat on a chip though, even today.
I know, yeah. I played for Liverpool when I was 18, so I played for the under-21s when I was 17.
But the message from all of you is... Very good. The message from all of you is we need to have a pathway to the first team, but these guys have just won the World Cup. You can't believe you've made it yet.
No.
That's the key
of course
point.
not. They've not made it.
Get their heads down, but enjoy the moment too.
And go on loan somewhere.
And go and work hard.
Don't go to Swansea, the old Vetch field.
The problem is that it's a mindset change from chairmen who are making money out of players to managers who are under too much pressure to pick young players. We need a
that's the thing. Why pick an 18, 19-year-old kid whose form's going to fluctuate when you've got a fully made, you know, Bernardo Silva.
Liverpool are throwing
Liverpool are throwing them in.
The right back looks to play.
They've all had to go. Well, Gomez is in now, a young lad from Charlton, of course, but Trent's played and
he looks a real player. Good player.
Right, we are chasing the clock somewhat. It's a brilliant chat. I enjoyed that. So the final part tonight is going to be about the one that got away. Now you stay where you are. You know, you're contributing a bit. So let's see how you do in the last part, and then we might invite you back next week.
The last part.
Cheeky. In the final part, we're going to talk about the one that got away. We wish we had one of those ourselves. After Ronald Koeman couldn't land Olivier Giroud. So get your thoughts in for that, and we'll see you in a second.